Alright, this video is just to kind of fill up a few little spots on the last video. I maybe missed or misexplained it, whatever. But the main video is talking about how you promote a double Helix. This means the wave cross each other in two different directions. One go left, one go right. Now, the phenomena which, when you produce that, like I explained now, generator do not exist because you cannot create energy, you cannot make energy or destroy energy, and that's the bottom line of it. So I'm not going to rehash that very long. So if you don't believe me, that's your problem, not mine. The double helix have a very interesting phenomenon because when you create a double helix, if you create a double helix, it's two ways to do it. Like, you know, it's the effect. If you create a double helix with a spinning, mechanical spinning shaft, you will have a double helix. This means one will spin clockwise and the other one will spin counterwise, and they will open up like a funnel. And and this is what sucks the energy, the resonance into your pump, and then the pump convert that, the coil picks it up and convert that into volt. And then when you have one wire, you have two wires coming out of your pump from your stator, your coil, and one will be a pusher and one will be a polar, positive, negative, or that's what we call it. So we're going to stick with what we call it for now. I'm not going to change that, positive and negative. And it's just like black and white, so it makes sense. It's separate from one to the other. But when you create those vortex going into to create those double helix, you're sucking it from the resonance around you. Now Tesla have a different way to do it. Tesla was doing one vortex, the counterclock spinning vortex was pointing to the earth, and the clockwise vortex was pointing to straight up. And you know, and that makes sense when I start thinking about it the other day. If you're sucking, this is a pump, so you're sucking the energy from the earth, it will be negative, because that's what the earth is. And if you're sucking from the sky or the space around you, it will be positive. That would make sense. That kind of fall into his theory, because if you remember, the first power plant he ever did is Niagara Falls, and is the Niagara Falls. If you look at the generator Niagara Falls, the turbine is a shaft. The water turbine is in the bottom, and what they call the generator, the head of the generator head, they call, is on the top of the shaft, and shaft spin, right? And I believe it's spin counterclockwise. He was pulling up from the earth and from the atmosphere, or from the surrounding resonance, if we want to call it that way. If you look at all the hydro, because a lot of companies after Tesla and all that, you know, they all have their own opinion and stuff, and they change and they make horizontal spinning generator, which they're not as efficient. They're not as efficient at all. You cannot do the same thing with the same horsepower and put the same output with a horizontal shaft power plant than a vertical shaft power plant. It's very interesting. Why is the difference? You know, it makes a big difference. And why? The only thing I can see why is one is like this and the other one is like this. So don't worry, that's not beer, that's apple juice. I don't drink anymore. I never used to drink a lot, but I don't even drink alcohol anymore. So, so when we came to talk to this energy, we're pulling out of nowhere, because that's what, oh, how you can make power out of nowhere, was because the energy is all around you and below your feet apparently. We can pull in, we can tap into it, we can pump it in. That's what, you know, we call a generator, or actually a pump. They pump the energy in, and then the winding picks it up and converts it to volts. Faster you spin that pump, more volt you're getting. More rotation, more volt. More rotation, more volt. So, you know, you drop the rotation, the volt drops. You know, I find that out when my generator, or my, well, see, it's very hard to get this word. It was like flowing, you know, electron flow. It took me a while, you know, to get that out of my head. So, you know, you have to bear with me, and you know, hopefully you will move along with me. So now, when we pumping this energy and we convert it into a volt, which is volumes, and it create, when it comes out of the coil, it create a double helix. It literally, it's a smart power. When I mean it's a smart power, it does all kinds of stuff. It's very, very powerful for distance, because I test that with my tiny little pump, right? You know, my voodoo machine. If I disconnect all the rest, I just use the pump, spin that little pump there, I can take 500, 600, 700 feet, a mile long of spool wire or bell wire. You know those bells for ringing a bell door, right? Solid cord 2 wire. I can take a whole 1,000-foot spool of that stuff and wrap it, put a light in the end, and hook it up into my pump. And as soon as you turn the pump up, that light is on the other end. You can't do that with easy. Hell, never mind turning the light on, you know, at 1,000 feet. You can barely turn the light on with 250 feet of extension cord with a bigger wire. So this is why AC is not the same power they're producing in a powerhouse. And the powerhouse is they're taking this whole principle and then they remove, like I explained, if you want to get the energy which is stuck in that double helix, you got to remove that helix. You got to, it's like, you know, you ever try to swallow a walnut with a shell? Pretty hard, eh? But if you crack it open, you can eat the nut inside. But till you crack it, you cannot eat that nut inside. So that's why you have, literally, you have to crack that. You have to get rid of it, that helix, those double helix. But when you do that, right, the energy explode. The energy just multiply and amplified. And people say, well, how do you do that? Well, I explained many times how to do it. You know, you have to put it through a spark gap. As today, all the big power plants have spark gap. You don't see it because they're very nicely enclosed into a unit, and they put another name into it, so no one even really know what is in there. To someone, phone, you know, talk to me about, you know, in Dubai, and they confirm what I was talking was right, because apparently something happened and a whole bunch of stuff blew up, and there you go, that piece of equipment they had there blew open, and what was inside? 3 massive spark gap, and the rod was 6 inches across of pure tungsten. So, I mean, I'm not making that up. I'm just repeating what I've been told, right? Because no one would invite me into a power plant and and explain that to me, or you came and purchase used part from a power plant so you can take it apart. right? Look at a transformer. You know, you can purchase, it's hard to purchase a used transformer because when you go back into, you know, the power company, it's all handled secrecy and all that, and those transformers get moved and disassembled and whatever, and no one can really see it, because if you could see it, then people would know how a transformer works. But it's not available, so you can control the people that we can control the knowledge, right? And I dare you to go to any, I have a company who will build transformer right here in Chilliwack, 20 minutes away from me. And they won't let me go in. They won't, I asked them, I said, can I have a tour to see how the transformers wind? No, you can't go there. Why not? You know? And those companies, they're public. Public trading, it's a public company. I'm public. Why the fuck I can't go there? Because it's a big fucking secret, right? So that's how nobody knows how when you turn the switch, right? No one know what's happening when the light turns on, and they want to keep you that way. So anyway, when you remove that double sine wave. That's just a sine wave. When you're spinning something, you create a sine wave. That's how sine wave is created. You know. When you remove that, you have what Tesla call multiplication and amplification. See, a step-up transformer cannot do. It will do multiplication, but it cannot do amplification at the same time. You just do multiplication. Multiply the numbers and then reduce the other number down to nothing, because if you step up, you lose your current, right? You lose most of your current when you step up. You get the volt up, but you get no currents. When you do it with a spark gap, you convert your whatever type of current you have in your double helix, and you just turn into potential. Potential is not an end. Potential is a strange phenomenon. It's what you can create and after you have potential. If you have no potential, you cannot create an amp. You know, because if you send 14,000 volt with no potential on top of the line, you have nothing coming out. You'll have volt coming out of your transformer, your pole transformer. You'll have your low volt coming out of your pole transformer, but you won't be no amp out of it because you didn't put any potential in it. So potential is the one who created the amp. And then your volume of volt is your volume of energy you have, just like water's pressure, you know. So I mean, like, you know, it's very simple. Everything works like water. Now, therefore, now we know that it's getting simpler and simpler to manipulate this. Okay, you know, I know how to create a double helix with volt. I know how to take the sine wave of the double helix up and release the energy out of it. I know how to compress it with a cycler. That's what they call that. See, power plant call that, they put the cycle into it before they release it into the line. But the cycle is not a wave, it's a chop. And it equal no power to equal power. But the thing is, it compress. It's like a compress valve. It does stuff like, it's just like a garden hose. I explained that today. A gentleman phoned me, and I said, take a garden hose, right? Put a nozzle for shooting, just a pressure nozzle on it, so it shoots straight. Not an adjustable one, a sample one, just like a fire hydrant nozzle, solid, the old type nozzle, right? And I said, put a sensitive pressure gauge into your line. Then open your tap full of glass, and you'll see your water with the pressure you have. You'll see the pressure here, right at your hand. and you will see how far it goes, right? Now, take a fan with short blade, like narrow blade, right? And put it in the front of the stream of water, like, you know, from your garden hose, and it will hit the fan, and it will make the fan turn, right? That's fantastic. But look what happened to your pressure. It bumped the pressure up. It pulses the pressure. Whoa, that's mean I increase my pressure. For each time that blade stopped the flow, and we're not talking about right at the nozzle, we're talking about, like, you know, 4 or 5 inches away from the end of the nozzle. It still push back pressure into the line. That means it's slowing down the flow of water for a split second, and then releases it. And you will find out now, every time it's been released, it goes further than just a straight stream. That's called that compression. Hammering compression. And that's what we have up when you put a cycle. You're giving a time and space, because all the blades on the same distance and they start spinning. Even if they spin faster, it's still the same distance, time and space between the blade. So here we go. So we give them the cycle so we can produce 60 hertz. So when that cycle goes into your pole transformer, now the pole transformer, you know, receive all that and convert that cycle, because it's a wireless communication inside. It will shoot it will create a sine wave now, a 60 hertz sine wave, what we call 60 hertz. 60 is 60 up and down per second. Now you know exactly how you can take a chop energy and convert it into a sine wave. You have to be done through that transformer, because the transformer, those plate, when that chop gets in, because it's plate wrap or a bunch of wire wrap, flat wire, square wire, I don't care what the transformer is, it does the same thing. I like the plate, the way more efficient transformer with plate in it than wire. The only wire, the one I'm using, the transformer I'm using, is the high voltage wire is a single wrap of wire, and it's tapered to the bottom. It's not tied up to anything. So now I probably gave you the best explanation how a transformer works. It's wireless communication inside of a can. And then of course they put the oil, cooling, moisture, and of course a transformer hum. Well, if you fill up the can, you can pretty much remove the humming, because you have a substance molecule surrounding all the transformer. So the noise is damper, so you don't hear that transformer like a dry transformer, right? It's nice and quiet. So that's how a power plant, and that's how the type of energy they shoot in the line. It's not AC in the line. Anybody think it's AC coming up the top line? They got marble for brain. Literally marble for brain. I mean, those people, I don't know what they do for their life, but I wouldn't hire those people to dig a ditch, because I don't think they have the intelligence to do that. But that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So now we know how a power plant works now, how it produces the power, what type of power it produces, and all that. So, hey, I must be a fucking rocket scientist, because I just discovered by myself, by walking up the line, how everything works. And something. Because they won't tell you. They know how it works, but they won't tell you, because hey, if you know that, then you start figuring things out, and you can find out, you know, you're getting ripped off, you know, when you're paying watts, because the transformer makes the watts, makes the amp. There's no watts and no amp coming up the power line. It's a transmission line. If it was watt on there and amp, that fucking line would be red hot and melting away. But it's not. So, I mean, we have 2.5 million volt in transmission line. The line, they're nice and cool. You don't see the line steaming up when it snows and in rain. The line not hot. I know a guy, you know, I personally know a person who actually live and talk. Which, you know, we once in a while we meet and we talk. He used to be a line maintenance guy. That's mean he's the guy the chopper drop and he sits on the line and he ride and check all the cable. And he's got 2.5 million volt going through him. So those line doesn't get hot. So there's no amp into it. It's potential. Potential is not converted to amp yet because this guy would have fried. So now when you take all that information and you start compiling that and place it properly, now you start to having a picture. A picture saying, those motherfuckers have been lying to me. They've been lying to everybody for the longest time. So now, okay, the lie is removed. I just tell you what's going on. Do your research. Get up your ass off your couch. Put the beer and the pizza on the side, right? Turn that fucking stupid box, you know, the washing machine in front of you. That's what is a brain washing machine. Turn that off, turn the computer off, and do your research. That's all I have to tell you about that. If you can't do that, then don't come and give me the lips because, you know, you just want to talk out of your ass. So now, so we know how kind of power we're using. Okay. I also want to update it, so I find out after I published this video, the last video. Apparently, I got a new controller coming, custom built, 300 volt output. People said it's impossible. You can't get a 300 volt output. Apparently, it's not impossible because apparently that's not as high as they can make. So we'll see. It should be here because it's coming from the other side of the world again. Because we don't build shit in this country or the next country. North America is probably the sewer of technology because we have all the technology, but we can't build shit. Right? Everything is built someplace else. So it's coming across the world, high quality, directly from the factory, and apparently, I believe it only took a week for them to do it. Custom built. And the nice thing is, it's coming to me for free. And more, if I like it. Now, I know how you're going to hear that. For free. No $1 million asked. Just to look at me and to talk to me for free. If this control really worked really well and all the stuff they're sending me works really well, I'm going to put you out of business. Because I will tell everybody online on my channel, if you want a controller, I got a controller for you. Whatever you want. And they're not that expensive either. And they're well built. Matter of fact, a lot of large companies like the American military, the Navy, Germany, Japan, they all use that company to build electronics. So it's really high quality. I mean, for me, that's Christmas. I have my Christmas earlier this year. That's all I want. I don't want anything else. I don't need anything else. Anything else is irrelevant. Till we have a primary mover. A primary mover who actually run on his own. That's when you energize it, and that's it. As soon as it's energized, it starts spinning, and you maintain that. And you maintain the torque, and you maintain the horsepower. And you don't have to keep feeding him with batteries, one more batteries. Oh, that battery's getting low, we gotta switch it. No, it does that by itself. So, and that's going to be, I will be able to show it really fast. So when I receive the controller, I do the test. I got my drum motor back into a shaft. I can do the test, do the torque. I will give you the torque of those drum motors because they're super, super, super strong. When I mean super, super strong, if I don't know if anybody have any time or any common sense, when I give you a name and a place to look. You know, instead, get on up your ass and look at it. You know, Rolls-Royce thruster, how difficult it is. Punch it up in the goddamn YouTube. Rolls-Royce thruster, and you will see what they did. Those guys that were literally genius. I think they must have heard me talking. They've been doing it for a year and a half now. They must have heard me because no one ever did that before. They actually make a propeller which the power is not on the shaft, it's on the outside of the prop. It's like a drum motor reverse, and the stator's all around the propeller, and the ring of magnet is tied up to the blade of the prop. So the shaft, all it does is hold the prop in the middle. No more big shaft coming up from the hull of the ship, and the ship is probably, it's a research ship, it's probably 150, 168 foot ship. The response on that ship, 2 to 3 times faster response. The speed, they have to control it, it's too fast. The power plant you used to run the ship, the motor you used to run the ship, the first motor and the auxiliary motor, in case of a failure, they're no longer there. They're removed. And they have generators. And they have, their backup is a bank of battery, and they have generators to run directly. Again, see, I use the word generator, but I have to, because at that point in time, that's what you guys call it. So I'm going to call it a generator. And they run the power through the prop, the thruster prop. I mean, the thruster prop is the back prop to push the boat, okay, and that's what they call thruster. And so it's just like it's the same system as a locomotive, right? A locomotive, you get this big diesel generator, a big diesel motor, who turn a big DC generator, who then from there they push the DC power coming from the generator into the DC motor, drive on those big wheels. That's how our locomotive work. They did the same thing, right? So they don't have mechanical shaft between. They can separate that. But they're still pushing amp into it. They don't have the belief. They think amp is power. Amp is heat. Watt is heat. Volt is motion. People have to put that in their head. Without volt, you have no motion. You can have all the amp you want. If you don't have volt, you have no motion. You get lots of heat, but you have no motion. Unless you can convert the heat to motion, but this is a whole new process, and you're going to have lots of loss into it. So why going there, right? So the controller I'm getting, if it turned in its design, the company, the manufacturer designed this controller. They know those drum motor. They know very well. He said, we built motor, we built step-up motor. With, matter of fact, they built everything. So they know the motor very well. They know it's not a motor. It's a propulsion and rotation. That's all it is. Because the system in this motor, if you and Captain of the Sea, which is a very nice guy, and he's been trying to help for so long, and I mean, he's the only one actually, Captain of the Sea, who actually did the exact, because everybody's tried to make duplication of my stuff, right? But when you look at my unit and you look at their unit, it's nothing close to what I have. I mean, they use compartment the same thing, but the way they put it together is totally so complicated. They get so complicated, they get lost into it. And then they said, it doesn't work. Same thing with transformer. The two transformer, you amp just going through two pole transformer. I proved that on camera. No one could duplicate that, because every time someone put a duplication, they make their own experiment and call that my duplication. It's not. It's their own experience of fail. Why it failed? Because they know better. Now, Captain of the Sea is a little smarter than that. Matter of fact, this guy is pretty smart. You know, he's using that, right? He said, "Oh, duplication. That means I have to do the same thing." So he didn't have a Michelot generator. He used he's got a Honda motor. I'm not familiar with the type of generator he's got on it, but it's 36 or 3400 watts capacity or load. So he did exactly. He take 2-pole transformer, connect them together, high voltage into the high voltage in this one, and he brought his generator to the tap, and he went up and loaded up the other tap on the other transformer. And I think he stopped at 7200 watts, and everything was working. He said 7200 watts. Now this guy did almost to the point beside the generator the exact same thing I did to have that test and have a successful test. Now I have to say to the guy, bravo for a change. Someone who actually listened with his ears, not with his mouth, and see the difference. So I have great respect for Captain of the Sea because he sent me a controller, I tested it, and it's a 3-phase controller he sent, and those motors were working. They're not 3-phase control, they're not 3-phase motor. They're not even a motor as far as I'm concerned. They're just a propulsion system. So, but Captain of the Sea, and I gave you this the site to go and see his YouTube video, and you will see. You can put mine and put his, and it's pretty much similar, except his have more output, so you get more output on the other end. I have only so much output, 1400 watts. I only have so much output on the other side, right? That was the only difference. It was a successful test. Why the other one keep fucking around with this shit, right? But that's beside the point. I proved my point. He proved my point. So what more can we do on that one, right? You can only prove your point so many times, and after that you have to walk away from the stupids. Now, we're going into a deeper part of science. A deeper part of science is because now I'm going to be talking about people they're supposed to be the most intelligent people in the world. And they can explain you all the phenomena of flowing electron, and all the stuff, right? Photon, proton, megatron, and all that stuff. And it's funny because when you see those people, they sound, I mean, wow, those guys, like, you know, they're sitting in a big pedestal, higher than God, for God's sakes. You know, because, you know, that's the way they like to be, higher. I'm the guy who's more smarter than most people, right? But when you ask him a down-to-earth question, like, can you break down and explain the dirt you're walking on? They're speechless. It's a simple question. Pick up a handful of fucking dirt you're walking on and analyze it. Break it down. You can break down everything. Break it down. You're the smart fucking people on earth. Why can you break that down? Why can't show me without a computer animated picture, because that's Hollywood, right? You know, remember Hollywood? Movie, people die. When the movie is over, they all get up and go and have a beer, right? It's Hollywood. It's fake news, right? It's fake. they don't want to do that. They say, wow, that's the way it goes. So those are the intelligent people who tells you how things work. I'd rather listening to a fucking squealing pig, in the barn, than listening to one of those scientists, because that pig makes more fucking sense than that prick. That's what I think about science and scientists. Now, he's got lots of good scientists out there. Well, a lot, not a lot. Very moderate numbers of scientists in the world who know what they're talking about. And they agree with me. So those guys, they don't know shit. But because they've been given the statue of that pedestal, that's how people listen to. Now, people said, how do you know all that? I said, it's one person on this planet, which no one ever talk about, who know how and how many types of electron we have in this planet. And it's the closest person because he know the temperature difference to separate those electrons. He's an alchemist. Alchemists can pretty much explain you the composition of material better than anybody else in this planet, including those high-end scientists, because a high-end scientist know nothing about alchemists. Remember alchemists? They used supposed to be witchcraft, and they used to kill them and burn them in the pole. Those guys, they had to hide themselves in a mountain cave, and they were killing themselves from the gas they were producing from separating metals and stuff like this. They had to hide and die because they were so intense in their research. They didn't care if it cost their life. Now, those are researchers. A researcher who's afraid of a paper cut, it's not a researcher. Shit, I almost lost limb. Almost blew myself many times. Electrocuted myself many times. I don't stop there. It hurt. But if I don't die, okay, well, it hurt, but I didn't die, so all right, I'm not too bad with it. If it happen again, I know the result. I'll be shot across the room, probably unconscious for 20-50 minutes, but I'll walk out of it, right? It's just an experience. Very important, an experience, right? That's why we learn with experience, physical experience. So, but that's what it is. And again, when I said the world is mechanical, because the world is motion. We motion, I'm motion, everything is motion, the planet is motion, the universe is a motion. Hell, if you don't believe me, just watch the sky once in a while. It's not a still picture, it's a motion picture. It moves. It doesn't stay there. So, if you see motion, movement is motion. So it's mechanical, because all motion is mechanical. So now we have motion. We're living in a world of motion. Now the energy is motion. The double vortex is motion. So if it's motion, everything can be calculated with the simple code of 0 all the way up to 9, arithmetic. Nothing else. Don't use the bullshit algebra or advanced mathematics, because advanced mathematics is algebra. If people don't know about it, look it up. Don't Wikipedia. Go to the university and ask what it is. Okay? And algebra, you can have an equation, take you all day to get to the equation, and if you don't come to your answer, you create another equation to fix that, to patch up that problem. With arithmetic, you can't do that. Arithmetic, you can find out if you're right or wrong. When you finish calculating, if you want to find out if that answer you got in the end of the day is correct, you reverse your calculation and you're supposed to come back with the same number you started. If it's any deviant, you screw up between the beginning and the end, and you have to find out where you screw up. So you just back trail your stuff. Ah, I forget a decimal. Gee whiz. It happened to me many times. Damn, right? You correct it, you go to the number, you go back, hey, that's good. Close the book for the day and go to sleep. Right? Get some rest, you did a good day's job. And that's what research is all about. Always backtrack, test, and always challenge your answer. If you don't challenge your answer, you're not a researcher at all. You know, so, but I'm going to try to make it, you know, not too long a video, but there's so much to cover and so little time to do it. You know, like just little things, you know, always be, see, when people tell me something, I don't believe nothing, first thing. I will take the information. I will try to digest it. I mean, my gut feeling, when someone tells me something and my gut go, the guy is wrong. Because my gut tell me, he already know the answer. But my gut cannot talk. All it does is, it tightens me up. This is a bad sign. You ever have that feeling when you walk into a situation and you should not be there, and soon you walk in, you get that funny feeling something bad is going to happen, and 99.9% something bad happen? Well, when you feel that gut feeling when you walk into some place, turn around and walk away, and then take some distance and watch back. Something bad is going to happen there. Because that's called intuition. And a good friend of mine, Marilyn New in West Australia, she used that. And she made a lot of money by using that. Getting out of investment, getting an investment. When you have a good feeling, it's a good feeling. When you have that tightness in your guts, it's not a good feeling. It's not because you have to take a shit. It's just not the right place to be. Follow that. Every time I didn't follow my gut, something bad happened to me. Every single time. I never failed. Soon I back off. I hear the next day, oh, you should see what happened there. I was there, but I walk away. See? Follow that. That's your intuition. We're born with it. We don't use it. We should be using it every day. It would make life a lot easier. So, you know, hopefully in the middle of this month I'll receive that, and I'll put everything together again, and I'll do a test, and then if that control is built for that motor, I have no problem with 300 volt. That gave me 100 volt per legs. I will have my RPM I want, my torque I want, because voltage is motion, so I'll have all the torque I want, and I will have no problem to have a primary mover who literally run by itself, because those motors are capable of whatever motor we call it. Propulsion system is capable of creating their own power to self-run, because they don't use ampere, they use volt, and volt is cheap like borscht. Jeez, you know, sometimes I have a good bowl of borscht. Get me hungry there. So, so the whole situation of this video is those points. All I'm doing is giving you pointer. It's up to you to take those pointer and crash it down, try to destroy it, try to prove me my point is not right. But don't just flop at the gun, because if you just flop at the gun, you're like those few bozos in here. Well, that's all they have is flop their gun, but they have nothing behind them. They don't even put their face there. They're so cowards. You know, they don't even put their face. How coward can you be? They like to badmouth people, but they won't put their face out. So, do your test. Take one point what I said. Don't take all the stuff. Just take one point what I said, and go in your garage if you have one, or a shop or whatever, and experiment. you know, you will see what I'm talking about. You know, the voodoo machine. I mean, you don't have to build a voodoo machine. Go to your appliance repairman and said, do you have one of those little pumps to drain a washing machine? Or no, I use those one for the dishwasher because they have a bigger magnet and a better pump, better built pump, right? And spin it. I don't care if you use a router motor with a chuck to spin it. Just spin it. You'll see that type of power comes out of it. It's not like AC. It's got you put in an oscilloscope, you give you that AC sign. Because the oscilloscope is designed to give you that AC sign. It's a Hollywood trick. If you take the Hollywood sign out of it, it will show you a totally different wave. But everybody likes the Hollywood because it's simple to understand. But it's actually not. It's not the way you see it. But if you test its power, I mean, remember when I was lighting up the 60-watt bulb, right? Full blast with that little pump, DC motor spinning the pump, 2 wire going to the light bulb, right? And I lick my finger and I put my finger across the 2 wires who runs its light bulb. And I'm talking, right? It's 120 volt coming out of that. Enough current to kill me. And I'm just talking. I don't feel it. I don't feel it because it's not going into me. I'm grounding. I'm licking my finger wet and I'm grounding both wires. The light bulb keep on going. There's one thing I did. One person on YouTube have the bulb to have his daughter, his 9 years old daughter, to take the light bulb. And she hold the light bulb by the 2 bare wire, right? Running, a 60-watt light bulb running, and she submerged her hand in the light bulb into a bucket of water. The light bulb didn't burn, and she didn't get electrocuted because it's not AC currents. That's what I'm telling you. It's like that double helix. This thing it's got a life on its own. It doesn't do stuff to really, unless you modify it to do this, just directly from that pump. It's like almost intelligent power. That's the only way I can put it. After 4 years of research, I can only come up with this power have intelligence. You know, my voodoo machine. You put apple juice, it tastes really good. You put on a machine, count to 5, take it out, and it tastes better. How the hell it does that? That means you have to rearrange the molecule of this apple juice. I didn't touch the juice. It's in a glass. It's inside a glass and it just sits, or it can be to a closed bottle. And you put it and it changes the arrangement of the molecule up and make it taste better. Now when people say I'm full of shit, I'm afraid not. Because you know what? I got probably about at least 500 or 600 people who did the experiment. Probably about 70 people come to my place and I show them and they taste it and I didn't tell nothing. I said, tell me if the taste remained the same. And they all take a drink, just regular bottle of water. And they're like, I said, well, what's wrong? It's different. And I said, yeah, it's different. Now, how different? And they can't put, I said, sweeter in it. Yes, it's sweeter. Now why it does that? It's not touching the juice. I'm not adding stuff in it. I'm not heating it up. I'm not boiling. I'm not doing nothing to it. It's just right beside it. It doesn't have to be on the top of the pad. It could be beside the pad. It could be on the table. The machine is there. It will do that. Why it doesn't do it on the worst way? I did alcohol, vinegar, everything. Now, apple cider vinegar, everybody know about apple cider vinegar, very good for you. But when you take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar like this, and swallow it, you get that kind of burning, and first thing, it tastes like crap. You know, I don't care what you say, it tastes like crap, it's vile. And it's got that burning in your back of your throat for at least 5 to 10 minutes, right? Well, you put it in that machine and you drink it. It doesn't, it smooth up the vial, right? It make it, it's swallowable. Like, you know, it's not as bad. No burning. No burning. I did scotch. I like, you know, when I used to drink really nice scotch. Nothing less than 20 years old single malt. But they still have that tiny little thing, like, you know, aftertaste, like a woody aftertaste, right? And it makes taste like baby's milk. It's smooth, it's tasty, it's flavored. Even the smell changed, the aroma changed. I didn't touch the actual liquid. I didn't put it into the microwave. I didn't do anything. It's no radiation. Because radiation the way people, the scientists explain radiation, it doesn't exist that way. You know? So, when a scientist cannot tell me, I'm talking about not the good scientists, because the good scientists, what they're doing today, they're listening very, very carefully, because I got those guys contacting me, you know, by the week. There's always someone come up, I'm so, you know, I'm very interested in what you're saying, because they see what I'm doing to say that. I did the homework and I did my test. So when I come up to a final test, and I cannot destroy this test, they always come up the same way, I have to tell you, because it saves you a whole lot of problem if you want to believe it or not. Right? You can waste 4 years of your life to do the same research I did, and let's see how far you're going to get. How much money you have to put out. How much time is involved. Right? So, doing research is not easy. I mean, people say, oh, you sit on your ass and stuff. Yeah, I sit on my ass, but I don't work with my ass. That's the problem. I work with this here. I sit on my ass, but I work with this. Right? Most people are sitting on a couch, they're sitting on that. And watching and doing stuff with their ass. Doesn't go very far past the couch. So it's just a different way how to see things, right? So hopefully that will bring some pointer and stuff like this. And please, when you put a comment, I don't care if it's good or bad, don't make a 3-pager in a comment. You know, I like to read my comment. You know, I don't care if I read a paragraph. Like, give me a 2-inch, 3-inch paragraph. I have no problem with that. I can, you know, it's nice. And I can get the message out of that, right? Or if you really want to talk to me, email me. Everybody's got my email. You know, soon you go in my channel, my email is there. So if you're watching my video, if you don't know my email, then there's something wrong up there. Maybe you should get something to look at that. Right? Oh, hang on. That's right. People came bitching by sending me an email and tell me I'm an asshole because I'm going to be able to see their email. So I'll be able to respond to their email. Like I'm going to waste my time chasing those fuckers. Right? That's how coward people are. So, yeah, just drop me a paragraph, what you think, and I don't answer a lot of reply. If I agree with you, I'll give you a thumb up. If I don't agree with you, I'll give you a thumb down. Then you can take it from there. If you want to know why I gave you a thumb down, email me. And if you're nice enough, I'll give you my phone number and we can chat over the phone, because I hate computers. I build this thing and I hate it because they make people lazy. You know, They just mush your brain up. As much, you know, you need to work and do stuff, they still mush that up. So, yeah, I'm not afraid of talking. I'm not afraid of talking to people, and there's hundreds of people talk to me, and they can tell you the same thing. I'll take the time and talk to you, and I, you know, try to explain you and stuff like this, and I'm going to try to guide you to a way to you be able to understand how I see things, right? You have to understand the human brain. I told you in the last video, the human brain only works on literally visible seeing. If you can't see, if you can't touch, if you can't smell, if you can't feel, you cannot create a fucking picture in your head. Then you're blind, you're deaf, you're smellless, you're senseless, and you're fucking dead. Because that's what a dead person feels. Nothing. Smell nothing. Right? So, on that note, we'll try to keep it short. When I have the controller, I'll probably make another video in a couple of weeks. And good or bad, I'll make a video and let you know if that controller is actually working or not. But I think this time I have a star who's actually shining on me for a change. Just for a change, it would be nice. Because I had a lot of bad stuff shining on me lately, and it's just getting really tiring. So, anyway, till next time, folks, we'll talk again.